Yo, hello. It's very, very hot here today in Thailand, and I'm feeling the heat, as they say. So, what's it to be this week then on UAsk, I Answer? It's a question sent in by Mostafa, who is an organisational change management and communication consultant, trainer and coach in Saudi Arabia. Mostafa actually asked two questions, but I've chosen the following one. And it goes, what are the top, in brackets, untold personal traits a successful change management practitioner should have? Keep the well-known traits aside. Good question, thank you. The other question, as a matter of interest, was, from your experience, what are the tricks of the trade for change management, aka what makes you go from good to great change management delivery? Kind of thinking about the two questions together, they are aligned, if you like, and linked, aren't they? Because I think it's the personal traits of a change manager that impacts great delivery. My view. So let's get underway, shall we? As an opener, I once said in an article, change is people-centric. And if you like dealing with people and their emotions when going through change at work, helping and supporting them in times of stress, then that is what a change manager does best. Something to bear in mind. Let me now very quickly touch on the part of the question which went, keep the well-known traits aside. Well-known traits, that's a tough one because everybody thinks there are lots and lots and lots of well-known traits for change managers, but I'll keep this at a high level because I could go on forever and a day. And I'll talk about things like knowledgeable, good interpersonal skills, delivery focused, excellent communicator, of course, professional and positive attitude. And as I said, I could probably go on forever, but those kind of encapsulate the main ones, don't they? Given the above, what I've decided to do was kind of look inward to myself, if you like, and highlight some of the key traits that I think I possess, which have contributed to my successful career, of implementing change initiatives. If that's okay. I hope so. I'm going to do it anyway. So first up, number one, charisma or presence. Okay. Charisma helps determining which ideas get adopted and how effectively your project is implemented. But what is charisma? What is it? Have you ever been in a meeting or a large congregation of people and just noticed the one person that stands out from the crowd? I bet you have. That is charisma. Charisma is actually a compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. It's an innate power or talent of being able to inspire, attract or influence people naturally and draw them to support your cause or your beliefs. But please don't mix charisma up with confidence. Okay, confidence is a different thing, I think. But can you develop charisma, or is it something you're born with? There's a body of opinion that says you can develop charisma. There's a body of opinion that says you can't develop charisma. It's something natural. I believe it's something natural. My personal view, And you can develop confidence, of course, okay, but not charisma. As I said, I think they're two different things. So what I'm alluding to, if you like, is that a person who wants to become a good change manager not only needs an amount of training and experience, but also needs many personal attributes and characteristics to be successful in doing what they do. Charisma, for me, is an important one. That's number one. Number two, KISS. Keep it simple. I'm not going to say it. No. How many times have you come across change managers or people involved in change, who just use change management speak when engaging and communicating? What do I mean by change management speak? Let me explain. Let's start looking at the words used in some of the change models and methodologies as an example. Unfreezing, change, refreezing, Kurt Lewin's change model. Did you watch last week's video about Kurt Lewin's change model and whether it's still relevant in current OCM practice and in general my tirade about the use of models and methodologies? Take a look. I quite enjoyed doing that video. Artifacts and symbols, espoused values, basic underlying assumptions. Sheen's model of change. Discovery, dream, design, destiny. Cooper Ryder's appreciative inquiry. Pre-contemplation, contemplation. Preparation, action, maintenance. Prochaska and De Clementi's model. Whew, wow, great, eh? Then what about the words such as empowerment, endorsement, tangible, capacity, readiness, disruption, interventions? Whoa. And then, of course, come the famous acronyms, such as VUCA, OCM, KPI, CSFs, and dare I say it, ADCAR. Go wash your mouth out with soap, Ron. These are just to name but a few. There's loads of acronyms, loads of them. The problem with acronyms and the other words that I mentioned, is that if you start spouting these words or these acronyms or whatever to people who are not in the know or not on the same wavelength as you, they'll just turn off, completely turn off. The only thing that they are interested in is what's in it for me. So I suggest keep it direct, keep it personal, speak to them in a language they will understand about things like the business issues and drivers that created the need for the change itself and the impact of the change on them, what's in it for me, and convince them that they will be part of the change process. They should be, they must be, they have to be. That's that one. Number three is less dashboards and statistics and more focus on people. I did touch on this article in 2019 called Are We in Danger of Dehumanizing Change Management? And in that article, I suggested there were two types of change manager. Type one, the first one who sits in front of their desks, desktop or laptop, and the majority of the day plays with models, statistics, etc., pretty graphs, slide decks and so forth, purely to satisfy the requirements of those that want information, mainly senior managers and the C-suite. Okay. The second type of change manager is primarily concerned with the people side of change, but they can also provide necessary and relevant data, to satisfy, once again, whoever needs to be satisfied. So people, people, people first. Stats, stats, stats second. Me, what am I? I like to consider I'm a type 2 change manager, but with a bit of number one thrown in, because I do recognise the need for people to want stats and graphs, etc., just to elaborate on stuff, and everybody likes a picture rather than numbers, right? So I'm a number 2, I think. With the ever-increasing emphasis on tech, I think we are forgetting that the one constant in change is people, and the fact that they need to be communicated with, and two, embraced and engaged more than ever nowadays. I see any kind of dashboard, stats platform as a means to an end, to deliver specific and timely information, yeah, and content that is easy to digest and is simple to interpret. Okay. There is a tendency, unfortunately, like the #1 change manager I mentioned earlier on, to hide behind dashboards and statistics because it's easy to do, isn't it? Yeah. Unfortunately, unless you're there to provide context for that information, the stats, etc., yeah, all it is just a bunch of pretty graphs and graphics. But senior managers and the C-suite love them, don't they? Next up is become part of the change as opposed to managing it. What do I mean by that? Right, okay. Following on from the above, you need to immerse yourself into the change. Start by making friends. Yes, I did say make friends. Yeah? Get to know people intimately. Find out who the movers and the shakers are. Identify the real leaders. They will probably not be the C-suite, okay? And build meaningful relationships so that they end up trusting you. In one of my previous videos, I can't remember which one, I mentioned that according to Peter Senge, in his book called The Dance of Change, he quotes 3 leadership communities. 1, executive leaders, 2, local line leaders, and 3, internal networkers stroke community builders. So when I talk of get to know people, find out who the movers and shakers are, etc., I mean from the last 2 groups I mentioned earlier, the local line leaders and the internal networkers and community builders. Okay. Also, one final thing, you will get a lot of coalface type information if you befriend the likes of personal assistants, executive secretaries, receptionists, security guards, and even, dare I say it, cleaners. Yep, these people can often provide you with real insights into the organisation that you will not normally get from conventional sources. Excuse me, getting very hot. Anyway, I'll carry on. Sorry, slight digression. All right. Last but not least, yeah, stand firm in the face of diversity. If, like me, you position yourself as the conduit, the person in the middle, yeah, between the project hierarchy, that is program management, project management, steering board and PMO, yeah, and the other side of the coin, which are the impacted people in the business, so you're the conduit between the two, okay, then you're likely to be pulled every which way. And we'll have many different people to answer to and report to. It can be an absolute pain in the buttocks. Am I allowed to say that? Bum, am I allowed to say that? Whatever. It'll be a pain. Yeah? Remember, you are the person that's been given the role to deal with a change. So it's incumbent on you to do so to the best of your ability, focusing on, and I'll go back to saying this, the people that are impacted, the people side of change. With that in mind, you need to stand your ground when faced with uncomfortable situations or questions, so long as you have the knowledge, the experience, okay, and supporting information, a few dashboards if you like, and a few graphs, okay, then you need to state your case. Do it. Don't back down if you think you're right. It's the last thing you want to do. Okay? I've actually walked away from projects myself, yeah, where I haven't been able to get my own way, if you like. So people haven't listened to me at all. Yeah? And I've also been dumped off steering boards for providing, what can I call it, uncomfortable information. We're not ready, the business are not ready, the training was a failure, etc. Oh no, we don't want you on the steering board anymore. We don't want to hear bad news, we only want good news. Okay, fine, your loss. Right, to finish up, I think the following sums up what traits I think a good change manager has. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek, this one, okay, which I actually use on my LinkedIn profile. So, first of all, a clear mind, that is not cluttered with unresolved issues, unexamined motives or preconceived ideas. Yeah? Eyes that can see beyond today. Yeah? Ears that can listen to other points of view. A nose that can sense opportunities and timing. A mouth that can speak out with honesty and respect. A heart that can feel others' pain and respond to it. A fire in the belly, I can't show you my belly, you wouldn't like it anyway. A fire in the belly that provides passion and responsibility and makes you want to get up in the morning. Yeah? Skillful hands that can do work and strategy at the same time. Okay? Light feet, no, I'm not going to lift my leg up and show you my feet. Okay, light feet that can move swiftly when the timing is right. And finally, the soul of a warrior with a deep sense of honour, perseverance, along with a willingness to act decisively. Those are actually not my words. I nicked them years and years and years ago, but I couldn't find the person who to credit them to. But I think they must be about 15 to 20 years old now. But I'll try again and maybe I will find them. So my question to you is, what kind of change manager are you? Number one. Number two, with all those attributes and traits I mentioned earlier on, take a bit of reflection, look in the mirror, ask yourself some questions. What kind of change manager am I? So thanks once again for listening, and I will see you again next week.